Hi, everyone. Did a deceased patient follow me home? Yeah, I think they did. A few months ago, I put out a video called Did I Drive a Ghost Home? And I go into detail of what happened throughout that night. But I thought I should talk about what was the aftermath of that. Really, when I was driving home late at night from a patient's house that had passed away, and the family was wonderful, and it was kind of just a very peaceful visit, nothing extraordinary. But on the drive home, I kept seeing something in my passenger seat, and from the corner of my eye. Like, here I am in my car. I just thought I should do the video in here, just driving along, and I kept seeing something in my passenger seat. And here I'm driving, I kept going like this and looking over there, like, nobody was there. I even had to pull over and get a cup of coffee because I thought, oh my gosh, it's late. Maybe I don't know, just I'm not a crazy person. I'm not a delusional person. So it was really strange. But when I got home, things were flying off the walls. Things were dropping over. My animals, particularly my cat at the time, was going a little bonkers, meowing at the wall, batting at things out the wall. And he never used to do that before. Beautiful cat, half Himalayan, half Persian, very, very smart. If you ever had a cat that fetched, this cat would fetch. I never had a cat like this before, but he was not acting as usual. Of course, my husband was out of town because I didn't have a witness to what was going on. And if you've watched my channel for a while, or if you're new, we've had some strange occurrences around the house. We did have a crime that happened in our house before we bought it. I do have a video out about that as well. But yeah, and so I ended up having to shout out into the air, you need to go on. You need to move on. I wasn't really scared because, I didn't think this was a demon. This was just, I feel it was a confused patient that didn't realize where they were. I think they were in the in-between. They maybe weren't ready to move on to the next phase, and maybe they were just confused. In my heart of hearts, I believe that's what happened. And I prayed about it, and I asked for that spirit. You've got to move on. You've got to move on. And then all the activity stopped. Things were not falling off the walls. I had this display case that fell over. Things were falling over in the bathroom. Really, that whole weekend, because I got home late that night, that whole weekend in the evening, things were going on. But after I just asked that spirit to move on, it stopped. Now, we have had other things go on in the house. And again, I think that's due to other occurrences. If you guys have watched all those videos, you know what I'm talking about. But I wanted to also mention, I am not alone. I came across, I'm going to show you. I came across this book. Hopefully it shows up here. Haunted Healthcare by Richard Eatsep. And so he's an EMT. He's interviewed a lot of different healthcare personnel. He tells a story about how it's a really good book. I can't put it down. So it's free on Kindle Unlimited. And I think if you don't have that, it's only $4.99. It's not expensive. And he's legit. So I recommend it. It's a good read. And then there's even a part 2 out. So I'll probably get that book next. So it's very entertaining, but he interviews a lot of different people. And one thing, not to give any spoilers, but because it's on the sample, you can read this in the sample of the book, but he went out on a call. He was in the ambulance. There was a car crash, and a boy of about 14 years old, they were trying to revive him, trying to resuscitate him, got him to the hospital, but unfortunately he didn't survive. But he had a dream that night, and the boy came to him in his dream and said, with a smile, like, everything's okay. I'm okay. Don't worry. You tried your hardest. Like, everything's good. And so for some reason that EMT also went to this boy's funeral. And when he went to, go up, pay his respects, it didn't really explain it in the book, but what I'm imagining, because he said the boy smiled at him and said, thank you. Thank you for helping me. And I'm imagining maybe the boy's spirit was overlaid over the body and kind of did that, or maybe in his mind's eye overlaid it, because I don't really think the body itself did that, because, again, I'm open-minded. I believe in the spiritual world that you can do that, but when a body is truly dead, unless it's rigor mortis, it's not moving. It's not reanimating. So I kind of think that's what happened. Either the spirit was overlaying it, or the spirit was communicating in his mind's eye and he saw that he was looking at the body. But it was, and then he said he never forgot that incident. Just like I never forgot, out of the hundreds and hundreds of patients I've seen and drove home late at night, that one experience always stuck out to me. And I still question, like, what happened that night? But I know since the weird things were going on in my house, it just kind of confirmed to me, yeah, there was something in my passenger seat. There was a spirit in my passenger seat. And when I talked about this story in a previous video, some people were commenting, it's a demon, it's a demon. You can't, so it brings me to what Tucker Carlson said. And I know a lot of you are commenting, you're like, oh my God, she likes Tucker. Can we just take a chill pill for a second? I listen to all voices, right? Not just spiritual voices, right? I watch all different news stations, all different stations on YouTube, because I like to get a viewpoint from everybody. So anyway, I thought it was brave because Tucker came out and said he was scratched by a demon. I don't think he has anything to lose. Why would he tell the story? He doesn't, or I guess I should say, he probably doesn't have anything to gain by telling that story. I think he's being honest. I believe him. And you can check out YouTube for the whole story on it. But basically, he said he got scratched on both sides. He was bleeding. It woke him up. He couldn't believe it the next day. And I think someone that's in media like that, I definitely think they could be under some type of attack, whether in their own mind or if you're a spiritual person and you believe in good and evil, I think someone in his position would absolutely be under attack because, you want to get someone that has the eyes and ears of many people. You want to try to influence them. I think that's what maybe went on. But I don't think what followed me home in my car here, well, look now, the passenger seat's empty now. I don't think what followed me home that night was a demon. I think in my heart of hearts, it was a confused spirit, because in my car, don't you think I would have smelled something awful or felt a sense of doom or foreboding, or I didn't feel any of that. In fact, it felt pretty light in my car. And when I got home and the unusual experiences, again, if it was a confused spirit trying to get my attention, it kind of makes sense that things were falling down or trying to get the attention of my cat. But again, I didn't feel anything evil around. Now, I've talked about that before. You know how when you walk in an area or a space or, like an old hospital, old hotel, and he talks about old hospitals and haunted medical units in this book, but you do get that vibe. I've had that before when I've walked in certain patients' houses that I had to go out and see. And maybe they had family there that were up to no good. I did get a really bad vibe. It's funny. I just went to a medical conference yesterday and I was talking to one of the vendors, because in the big convention hall, they have all the vendors that want to speak to doctors. And he had this, had this electronic device, and it's this new thing they're trying to use in medicine to detect electrical energy and wavelengths in the body. I don't know. He was explaining to me. I didn't really understand, because I said, well, is that an infrared camera? Is that a thermography camera? What is that? And he got my number. He said he would explain it to me. It didn't kind of fit with the science that I understand. So I'm like, I'm open-minded. I'm willing to listen to him. But it was interesting because he said, here, take this sample. And it was a mineral sample pack. He said, this is for people that have sensitivity to energy and EMF, like Wi-Fi. And I said, that's so wild. Out of all the samples he had at his table, I said, that's so wild you gave that to me, because I kid you not. And my husband and my family sometimes make fun of me, but anytime I'm near a router or even the airport or an electrical, I get the worst headache. I'm very sensitive to electromagnetic frequencies. And it makes sense too, because I'm really sensitive to energy. I am not a psychic, but I get those really bad headaches. And he said, oh no, I sensed that about you. That's why I gave you that supplement. And I just thought that was a funny coincidence. Maybe it was a lucky guess, but yeah. So I just wanted to share that. I just wanted to bring that story up again, because Tucker came out and said he was scratched by a demon. I said, oh, well, check out the story on YouTube. It's kind of interesting. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you for joining me on this, and I will see you on the next one.